Okay, so this webinar is specifically meant for clients. And so I'm going to show you an example of what I do and how I do it to be able to connect with clients and their emotions and relate with them. So here we go.
Hola, hola, hola.
I can't hear you. Oh, for some reason, I can't hear you. Hold on one second.
Testing 1, 2, 3, testing 1, 2, 3. Hello, hello.
Okay.
Hello?
Hello, I can hear you now. Wonderful.
Yay.
Well, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for responding to my post.
You were very welcome.
I may be on and off camera, but I'll be watching and listening.
Okay, sounds great. Hey, Patsy.
Patsy. Fancy meeting you here. Can't hear you.
You're on mute, dear.
That's because I told the computer that I was going to listen and not talk.
Such a compliant device.
It knows me better than me sometimes. How are you two doing?
Doing well. So glad that you could join. Very excited.
I said, I'm going to hop on. Bill's like, what are you going to do? Well, I really need to edit my book, but I'm going to hop on and see what Cecily has to talk about.
Perfect. Well, you are in for lots of good information.
Oh, hopefully it's not overload.
No, I try to keep it so it's not too much overload. And then I will make sure everybody has like the information at the end that I have a download people can just click on and they don't have to take notes. It'll all be right there for them.
That's great. My brain only absorbs so much. And then, so that's super that people can do the follow-up stuff. I'm not saying, I'm thinking of, being very self-interest here. So how much information? And Bill's in the house, so he might be able to listen to some too. So that would be helpful.
Great. Yeah, he's definitely welcome. Wonderful. I think we have somebody else that has joined, and Dee is joining us. So welcome, everyone. Hello, Dee.
Hi.
Hi, welcome.
I'm going to mute.
Sounds good.
Maybe.
Sounds good.
Looking beautiful in that pink today, Dee.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Hi, Patsy. Lovely to see you.
And for those that are off camera, that's no problem. In fact, what I'll probably do with most of the Q&A is stop the live stream. And then if people want to come off of camera and not be, live streamed into the group, I think that would probably be more appropriate. So at the very end, when I do have the Q&A, I'm just going to stop the live stream. So if people want to ask questions. I just have a couple more people coming in, give them maybe 2 more minutes and then we'll get started.
Oh, I think I might need arms. I think I'm going to go
Welcome,
and get my
Amanda.
water. 2 minutes.
So I hope everybody's having a good day today. It's definitely exciting. We have the weekend coming up. So much going on.
I'm like, I woke up so excited. It's day 2 with rain and our earth is so dry that I was outside taking pictures in the rain and we're just like the brown grass is starting to green again. It's just like that just lit my world.
It's always wonderful when it rains. I agree. Absolutely. We need the rain desperately.
Yeah, we've been in severe drought. Has your area been in severe
Mhm.
drought?
Yeah, unfortunately.
So it's like a little kid in the candy store. It's raining. Let's go play. We even have puddles today.
Oh, that's wonderful. Oh, goodness. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get.
We could donate some of our rain if you wish. We can donate our rain if you want. We get a lot here in the UK.
Oh. All right, so I'm just getting everything set up to go live, and then we will start. We will start this. And of course, Facebook is not cooperating today. So that is never a good thing, but I guess, that happens to everybody.
Cecily, are you getting that where it doesn't want to do the complete this video source? That's what was happening to me.
Yeah, something is going on with Facebook right now.
I had to refresh the data in the live stream app and completely cut off the history. I just redid everything, and then I got it going.
Perfect. Yeah, it seems like it's working now. So welcome, Abby. So good to have you here. And I guess we're going to go ahead and start live streaming if everybody's ready. Okay, perfect. All right, here we go. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Hope for Healing Network. I am super excited to start this new series of webinars for people just to learn, be educated in a simplified way, because if we can work together and learn more, we are going to have more answers for healing. And that's the whole purpose we are doing webinars in the Hope for Healing Network, is to give you that opportunity to learn and to heal. So thank you so much for everybody that's joining. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you, and we're going to get started. Before we start, does anybody have any questions? Okay.
Muted.
All right, perfect. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get it started then. And just as a reminder, I will pause every once in a while if you do have questions, because I want to make sure, if you do have questions, write them down. And then when I pause, then we'll go ahead and answer those questions for you, because I want to make sure that they do get answered. All right. Does everybody see my screen okay? Yeah. Okay, perfect. So welcome, everyone. I am so glad that you're here. If you or someone you love has been living with unexplained symptoms, endless frustration, feeling isolated, you are not alone. My heart is with you today, and I'm going to reveal the 3 hidden causes that conventional medicine often overlooks. And more importantly, I'm giving you the 3 keys to balancing your immune system so you can finally start healing and getting those answers that you're looking for. My name is Cecily Henderson. I am a holistic health practitioner. I am not a doctor, but I am part of the American Association of Drugless Practitioners. And my journey with autoimmune illness led me to go back to school and obtain 6 functional and holistic medicine certifications. For nearly 2 decades, I lived through a debilitating autoimmune neurological disease. And I was diagnosed with CIDP, which is chronic inflammatory demyelinating polyneuropathy. That is a mouthful. And I had difficulty breathing and feeling in my left arm and leg. And this eventually left me paralyzed for 7 long years. In the picture, I was giving the 2 thumbs up because I was trying to pretend that everything was okay, but it wasn't. And I was holding in my pain and fear. I felt completely alone. And I remember celebrating when I was able to use to go to a walker and have more mobility. I actually had a party with my husband because the doctors couldn't explain why I was so sick. And so I made a promise to myself to find those answers and restore my health again. I decided to return to school and study functional medicine, at functional and holistic medicine for about 13 years. And then I discovered the hidden root causes that conventional medicine usually miss. I also had thyroid cancer when I was 26. It came back at 30 years old. I have a painful genetic autoimmune illness called ankylosing spondylitis. This causes chronic arthritis pain, bone pain, and swelling in the joints and the tissues. It's very, very painful. And I ended up in the hospital a lot because the pain was excruciating. My doctor put me on injectable medications called TNF inhibitors. These types of medications, they're really bad for you. They suppress the immune system. And what happened is I became susceptible to infections. I had to drop out of school 1 year because the illness affected my eyes. And my doctor told me, if you don't drop out of school, you're eventually going to go blind. And my health at that time was really suffering, and I just didn't know how to proceed forward. So thankfully, I was able to finish school. And with the functional medicine and holistic medicine, I was able to overcome these debilitating illnesses. Today, I am walking, healthy, and living proof that healing is possible. I manage my autoimmune illnesses with lifestyle changes, nutrition, and specific nutrients my body's needs. I'm not on any medication. And I'm going to share with you what I did to help me find my health again. And yes, that is a picture of me in a unicorn onesie with my grandbabies, living my best life at 52 years old. Thank you. Thank you. It's amazing. So identifying the triggers for autoimmune response is the key. People with symptoms like fatigue, brain fog, arthritis pain, sinus issues, digestive upsets, headaches, these people are usually told everything is normal, but in reality, there is a hidden trigger to blame. Now, mycotoxins, which come from mold, can activate the immune cells, causing brain and lung inflammation, even when labs look normal. I see this all the time. Environmental toxins can be in your home, your workplace, in your cooking tools, plastics, even on printed store receipts. Those who have genetic predispositions, that means you're more sensitive to chemicals and toxins. They can overload your liver, and you might find yourself frustrated, going from appointment to appointment because you're not getting any answers. I don't know if any of you have been there, but it's very, very frustrating going to see all those specialists. And I just want people to know that chronic pain, it's not just bad luck. And I felt like that was me. Like I was a hypochondriac. My family was telling me all the time, you're a hypochondriac. I don't know, the doctors are saying everything's okay. But autoimmune pain can be caused by certain combined factors, like having a genetic illness or mutations like MTHFR, and then you're exposed to toxins and infections. And what happens is toxins overload the liver, and when the liver can't keep up, inflammation spreads through the joints and the tissues. Now, research does confirm the link between liver dysfunction, toxins, infections, and joint pain. That's why so many people feel like they're stuck in pain despite medications that they're taking. And that's the big reason why. Now, this might sound familiar. You've had countless blood tests. Every time you're told everything looks normal, right? Now, I had that happen all the time. Your labs are normal, and it was so frustrating. Deep down, you're not fine. And here's the truth that a lot of people don't realize is that standard labs only scratch the surface. Let me say that again. Standard labs scratch the surface. They can rule out a crisis, but they don't always explain why you're still exhausted, you're in pain, you're battling brain fog. What they don't test for are hidden root causes that drive autoimmunity. Things like mold toxins that disrupt the brain and immune system, gut infections that inflame the body and cause leaky gut, food sensitivities that confuse your immune response, or your detox pathways that are clogged and keeping toxins in your body. So when your doctor says everything looks fine, it doesn't always mean there isn't a problem, because I have that happen to me all the time. It just means they aren't looking in the right places. That's why so many people stay stuck for years. And that was me, not because you can't heal, but because the real causes have been overlooked. And I will be doing more webinars over the next few months in the Hope for Healing Network, addressing like each one of these issues, because being educated is what's going to really help you, especially when you talk to your doctor. When I talk to my doctor now, she knows I'm a holistic health practitioner, and I will be like, oh, well, what do you think about this and this? And I talk to her in a way that we connect, and I kind of give her the idea, and she takes over from there, but I'm always giving her the idea. And that, when you're educated, you are able to do that and take control of your health. So I want to talk about some of these triggers. Mold is not just an allergy. Most of your doctors will say, oh, it's just an allergy. It's not. Studies show mold toxins, they inflame the brain, they impair learning memory, they can overload the immune system. And one of the sneakiest ways mold affects people is through their sinuses, their sleep, and their food reactions. Even when allergies come back negative, it can still be mold toxins. Now, mold toxins they're called mycotoxins. They're tiny odorless gases. So it's a gas. So that means that they can get trapped behind drywall. They can get trapped in porous material. And what they do is they irritate your nasal passages, because the nasal passages are the front door where they enter. And it can cause sinus stuffiness, congestion. Even if you don't clearly see mold in your house, it can still be behind your walls. And these toxins also damage the gut lining. Sleep suffers too. Mycotoxins can interrupt the circadian rhythms. And people that are exposed to mold often report like insomnia, restless nights, or even feeling wired at night because they're exhausted during the day. Neurological symptoms that come from brain exposure or from mycotoxin exposure are like brain fog, memory issues, mood swings, even tinnitus, which is ringing in the ears. And because these symptoms, they overlap a lot of other conditions. And so mold is frequently overlooked. And I've had this talk with my doctor, and she says, I'm not trained, Cecily, on this. And so you just do whatever you need to do. The key is to look at a combination of symptoms. Plus, here's the number one key, looking if you have water damage in your home. If you do, then you are most likely being exposed to mold. Now, this picture is of my bathroom. We found a water leak in our shower, and we found mold. When we tore it out, there was mold along all the walls, the insulation, the wood. And I didn't realize it at the time, but I had what's called mold sickness. And after learning about it through practitioner training, I decided to take a certified medical education course, because, I wanted to heal myself. And now I'm helping people who have been exposed to mycotoxins. People call me the mold coach. I will be doing another webinar on this specifically next month, talking about the damaging effects of mycotoxins on the body, because people just don't realize that this can be an underlying cause of your autoimmune symptoms. Now, before we go on, does anybody have any questions before I continue to go on, or are you writing your questions down? Because I want to make sure that I cover all these. And I will give you a printout that you can click. It's a link that you can click to get a printout of this information that we're talking about. I do not expect you to take a whole bunch of notes, so I will have that available for you. All right, go ahead, Patsy.
Do you touch base on the length a mold toxin stays within the system if, like, you're moving out of one environment to another?
Yeah, that is a really good question I get a lot. And that when I do the mold webinar, I'm going to touch on all of that because it does depend upon, getting out of that situation or getting remediation. And so, yeah, I'm going to definitely go over that in that webinar. So great question. All right, let's talk about gut health. Hippocrates said all disease begins in the gut. And modern medicine confirms that 70% of your immune system lives in your gut lining. When the gut is balanced, your immune system is calm, it's resilient. But when yeast infections or bacterial infections, parasites sneak in, or when the healthy bacteria are out of balance, which is called SIBO, your immune system, it gets confused. And instead of recognizing friend from foe, it begins to overreact. And this is what we call leaky gut. The intestinal lining becomes weakened and tiny gaps open up. And through those gaps, undigested food proteins and toxins can leak into your bloodstream. When that happens, the immune system mistakes these particles for dangerous invaders, and sometimes even mistaking them for your own body's tissues. That's one of the main ways autoimmune disease begins. And this is why I do stool and microbiome testing. I think they are essential because standard labs that your doctor orders usually won't show you parasites, yeast, or bacterial overgrowth that drives this specific inflammation. It has to be so bad for them. And the reason is the tests that they use are not sensitive enough to be able to find slow growing underlying infections that have been there, that are smaller, that still can wreak havoc on your immune system, which is really unfortunate. But the right functional testing, we can see it's very sensitive and we can see exactly what's hiding in the gut so that we can finally calm the immune response. So when the gut barrier breaks down undigested food proteins, they can leak into the bloodstream. The immune system sees these food proteins as foreign invaders and it launches an attack. But here's the problem. Many of these proteins, they look similar to your own body's tissues. It's a phenomenon called molecular mimicry. And let's just, for some examples, gluten protein resembles thyroid tissue. Dairy protein can resemble parts of the pancreas. Even soy and shellfish proteins can mimic joint tissue. And this confusion can drive the immune system to accidentally attack not just the food proteins, but your own cells. And this worsens your autoimmune conditions like Hashimoto's, rheumatoid arthritis, inflammatory bowel. I've seen psoriasis as well. The good news is that by identifying and removing the reactive foods, we can dramatically reduce inflammation and calm the immune system. Now, I've seen clients who, after getting a food sensitivity test and eliminating the reactive foods, they saw their joint pain, their rashes, their thyroid flares improve within a matter of weeks. Now, for me, it was chicken. Isn't that strange? Yes, very surprising. Chicken inflames my gut. And so I had no idea that I needed to avoid it until I took a food sensitivity test. And one thing I just remember is food it's very powerful. It's not just fuel. It can actually trigger your symptoms when your gut barrier is compromised. And a lot of people don't understand or realize that. So your liver is like your body's drain. Every day it works tirelessly to clear out toxins from foods and environment, medications. But just like a household drain, it can get clogged. When the liver becomes congested, whether it's from mold toxins, heavy metals, pesticides, plastics, excessive hormones, it can't keep up. Like it's very, very stressed. All the stuff that we inundate our liver with today, our livers are stressed out. And instead of being eliminated, here's what happens. And I try to explain this to clients is that the toxins are recycled back into your bloodstream and tissues. And this creates a constant fire of inflammation that keeps the immune system on high alert. That's why people stay stuck. And some of them are eating healthy, they're eating clean, and taking supplements, but they're still sick. So some people experience, some of the symptoms are skin issues like eczema, rashes, acne, constant fatigue that doesn't improve with rest, headaches, stubborn joint pain. These are signs of poor liver and lymph drainage. And this is why functional medicine focuses on opening the clogged drain first. Without an open drain, you're just stirring up the toxins without a way out. And I had a client try to do a detox on their own, and they ended up very, very sick with what is called a Herxheimer reaction. So I recommend, if you are going to do a liver detox, work with somebody that understands safe detoxification. Okay, this one hits home for me. Implants are also a cause of what's called a foreign body autoimmune response. It could be breast, joint, dental. These are all, the immune system sees all of them as invaders. And what happens is that launches an inflammatory response. And this picture is my ruptured breast implant. This was the cause of my neurological autoimmune disease. And I experienced symptoms like fatigue, pain, brain fog, and then eventually I was paralyzed. I went through countless tests. Everything came back normal. It was very disheartening. I knew I wasn't fine. And what I later learned is that implants can often act as a foreign body trigger, which means the immune system doesn't recognize them as part of your body, and it can stay in a constant state of attack. I made a difficult decision to have my implants removed. You see the picture there before explant. Explant means removal of your breast implants. So before explant and then after explant, I'm just so much more vibrant. I remember my body being started to calm down. The constant flares started to ease. I still had some, but it was giving my body a chance to heal. And now I am completely healed. And this is why I talk about implants openly. It's not to scare people, but it's to shine a light on something that most doctors don't talk about. And for some of us, implants could be the hidden piece of the autoimmune puzzle. So I needed to bring this up as well. Now, conventional medicine is excellent for diagnosing and ruling out life-threatening diseases, and that's very, very important. But when it comes to lingering symptoms or what's called the mystery illness, most autoimmune diseases are kind of the mystery. Standard labs usually come back normal, and that's really frustrating. A lot of people are told you're fine when they're clearly not. Now, I offer functional lab testing to my clients based on their symptoms and needs. I want to get to the root of your issues. Functional labs can uncover mold toxins that are inflaming your brain and lungs, can identify gut infections like bacteria, yeast, or parasites. We can detect nutrient deficiencies that are slowing recovery, food sensitivities that are silently driving inflammation. And then these tests can also reveal genetic predispositions or genetic mutations like MTHFR, HLA. And these particular genetic mutations, they affect your detoxification, your iron balance, your immune regulation. And so, I just want to ask you, why is functional testing needed? Here's the answer: because it stops you from wasting money and time on guessing what is going on inside your body. I've spent so much money on supplements. I spent so much money on diets. Here's an amazing answer that you no longer have to try every supplement or diet blindly. We will know exactly what your body needs. Testing, functional lab testing, gives you clarity. It is completely tailored to your body. And with that clarity, healing becomes not just possible, but predictable. So here are the 3 keys to calming the immune system. This is the process that I use: remove, restore, and reset. These are the foundation of autoimmune recovery. They're very simple in concept, but powerful when they are applied in the right order with the right support. And that's really important. So you first want to remove your hidden triggers. Triggers like mold toxins, food sensitivities, heavy metals, implants, infections. All of these can keep your immune system stuck in fight mode. Second, you want to restore your gut and your liver health. Because your gut is your home to 70% of your immune system, and your liver is your body's main filter. When they're compromised, your body can't process those toxins and then calm the inflammation. They just can't do it. And then finally, reset your stress and resilience. And, for a long time, I didn't do this, and I realized I wasn't healing properly. And it's because I had so much stress. I was in fight or flight all the time. And so I had to calm that down. Stress and trauma play a major role in this. And when you support your nervous system, you get better sleep. Your emotional health has increased. You will help your immune system remember how to balance itself instead of attacking. And here's something very important that I want to emphasize. These steps work best when guided by someone trained in holistic and functional medicine. Why? Because calming the immune system isn't about suppressing it, it's about teaching it to work correctly. If you try to jump into a detox or elimination diet without first opening your pathways, you will end up feeling worse. Now, I have a free PDF printout for you that will include all this information that you can download at the end of the webinar. Now, I do want to share some stories with you. I've had some clients who finally found relief when we uncovered the hidden either mold or gut infections, genetic factors, foreign body reactions. The science really does back it up, and research links the exact triggers to autoimmune activation. Now, I do have somebody on this that I've asked to come and share her experience. So Abby, would you mind sharing just a little bit about your experience with mold and mycotoxins and now what you're doing to heal?
Sure. So 13 years ago, I was living in a condo that had mold in it. And so I first started getting what seemed like allergies. And so I started seeing an allergist, and I could see mold growing in the toilet. So I had the landlord remove the toilet. But I just kept getting sick, not knowing that there was other mold that I couldn't see. And then I got hospitalized for bowel obstruction. And then that's when all the GI issues started. I got SIBO, and later an intestinal parasite, and then insomnia. And it was just like one thing after the other. And I didn't know that all of it was related to the mold. So I was just going from, one specialist to the other, GI specialist for the GI issues, another specialist for, insomnia. And it wasn't until last summer that I finally got diagnosed with MCAS, mast cell activation syndrome, POTS, postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, and EDS, or Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. So Ehlers-Danlos syndrome is a genetically inherited condition, but it makes you more susceptible to, makes you like more sensitive to mold and more susceptible to getting MCAS and POTS. And also lots of us with EDS also have the, like myself, also have like the MTHFR mutation and hemochromatosis with the iron imbalance. And so, yeah, but I didn't get diagnosed with any of this until about 1.5 years ago. And it was also around that time that I realized that all this stemmed from the mold, because even after I moved out of the condo where there was mold, I unknowingly moved into a house that has mold, and was concerned about, having mold issues. So I got it tested, and the naturopath who I was working with at the time, recommended a company to come in and assess the mold. And we were told that the mold wasn't at like dangerous, it wasn't, dangerous kinds of mold, or at levels that were dangerous enough. And so initially my doctor dismissed it. Then another doctor said that certain people, such as myself, can be more sensitive to certain molds than other people. So that would explain why, my husband and I have both been living in this house for 8 years, and he's never gotten sick from it. So yeah, so then it was like, wow, okay, that explains all of these symptoms. And yeah, so, and I've been discovering the same things that really, treating those 3 things, like the gut, the stress response, and then detoxing from the mold after all of the going to all the various, specialists and everything, that's really key, because all of the, medications and things I've tried for it, more like Western medicine approaches, don't work because they're not treating the root cause. So that's what I'm focused on now.
Wow. Abby, thank you so much for sharing your experience, because being exposed to mold is a really difficult thing, especially if you're sensitive and everybody's telling you, especially your doctor's telling you, oh, nothing's wrong, right? That is the hardest. Those are the hardest words to hear, is you're fine, nothing's wrong. So I really appreciate that you sharing, and you're doing much better, right? You're feeling better, you're doing better, you're helping women. And I love that you're doing that to step up and help others who are struggling as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Helping others has helped me feel better too, and get my mind off of my health, and which in turn makes me. Oh,
sorry, my computer had a little glitch there, right there. So I apologize, Abby.
Oh, no, you're fine. Yeah, no, I was just saying, yeah, helping others has helped me. And yeah, I've realized there's a lot of healing to come from that. So yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. Thanks, Abby. Well, I'm just going to share one of the stories from my clients that that I can share with you. This particular client, and this is a really heartbreaking story, because when she reached out to me, she was struggling with like food sensitivities. She couldn't figure out what was going on, because everything she ate, she was reacting to. Nothing was helping. So I started asking more questions, and I noticed something very important. This is why it's important to work with a functional medicine or holistic practitioner, is that her children were having strange symptoms. And then her husband was experiencing neurological symptoms. He was already seeing a naturopathic doctor, but he wasn't getting real answers. Like, he wasn't getting better. And so with deeper investigation, I kind of started putting the pieces together, because I realized the entire family was being affected. So I asked her if she had water damage in the house, and she said yes. She also said that she had an inspector come in to test for mold, and was mold behind walls, because you have to have an infrared camera in order to find the mold behind the walls. You just can't have somebody in there and see it visually. You have to have that specific type of equipment. So the inspector found Stachybotrys, which is a deadly black mold. It was behind 2 of their main walls. And this dangerous mold was the cause of all their health issues. They remediated their home properly and started a safe mold detox program. And what happened is, the difference in their family's health It was remarkable. Her children, sorry, this one chokes me up all the time because her children were feeling better. She had 2 young daughters. Now they have more energy, they have fewer sensitivities, and finally had and found the hope that they had lost. I just love this little family. And if I wouldn't, and that's the one thing is you learning this information and you for some reason think, oh my gosh, have you, asking your friend or your neighbor, do you have mold? Have you, and you spreading that, you don't know how much you will affect somebody just by giving them that information. Now, this client, I'll never forget the day that this client came. She had her husband with her. She was a very frail woman, could barely walk. I remember she sat in my office. She had tears just streaming down her face. I learned she had been sick for 12 years. Every bite of food caused her terrible stomach pain. She couldn't eat. She couldn't keep meals down. She was exhausted. She was stick thin. Both her and her husband, they were really becoming deeply worried about her condition. She hadn't been on vacation in more than a decade. She couldn't leave the house. What broke my heart is she was not able to eat a normal family dinner. She had 5 foods that she could eat. That's it, 5 foods. And her colonoscopies showed severe inflammation and damage to her gut lining. She had gone from she was crying, telling me she had gone from doctor to specialist. She was becoming very desperate. So I told her about functional lab testing, and we came up with a plan. Together, we worked step by step for about a year, and were able to uncover the root causes of her inflammation. I helped her restore her gut health. She did the work. I just gave her the information. She did. I'm just so proud of her. She restored her gut health and her strength. And I'm very happy to report that she just had her first normal colonoscopy in years. Her transformation was incredible. And now today she can enjoy family dinners. She just went on vacation this summer without any worry or fear. And now she wants to help other people who are suffering. The gratitude she had, thank you, Patsy. Yeah, the gratitude she had and her family that shared, this is why I do what I do, is because of her, this client right here. And it's proof that, when you address the root cause, real healing and freedom is possible. So I want you to imagine your life with energy, clarity, and freedom from painful flares. I am an avid skier. I love skiing. I had to stop skiing. It broke my heart. Now it's wonderful at 52 years old, being able to go and ski. It feels amazing. Now, when you address the root cause, this is what's possible. Now, I am offering a free 30-minute root cause discovery session, as well as a downloadable autoimmune recovery toolkit. So this is going to have everything that we talked about in this particular webinar. Now, the session that I'm offering, it will be focused on uncovering your autoimmune triggers. This is a free session. I normally do not give free sessions. I don't. But I decided for the Hope for Healing Network, for people that I have been watching in this wonderful group, that I was going to open up spots. I have about 10 spots that I can open up to take clients. So please, don't wait to book. There is the QR code there. You just download that QR code. It leads you directly to the schedule, and you can save that spot. Now, what's going to happen is that after you schedule, I'm going to send you an email with a Zoom link to join on our scheduled day. So it will be done on Zoom, just you and me. And then I will also send you a health history form. It's very easy. It's all done online. You just have to type it in. So it's very quick. I'll send that to you as well. And then I am going to also take notes. You're not going to have to take notes during the session. I'm going to do that for you. And so I will send that to you after our session, our free session, and email it so that you can have those notes right there to start immediately taking steps to help your health goals. Because I want people to be immediately start taking action so that they can feel better. That is my goal. I want you to remember that autoimmunity isn't a life sentence. I thought it was for me. I thought I would never get better. This is a way your body's asking for help. And when we look deeper, the answers are there. Real recovery is possible. And if you want one of the free sessions, the 30-minute sessions, please don't wait. Just click the link, or I'm going to put a link in the chat, and then you can also scan the QR code. Just remember, your body is asking you to find the solution. I'm very excited to take this step with you. It warms my heart when I can help clients feel better. That's the whole purpose and reason why I'm doing this. Thank you so much for joining me. I am very much looking forward to walking alongside with you to helping you finally get those answers that you deserve. I'm going to put the link again for the autoimmune recovery toolkit in the chat for everybody. I'll also put it for those that are watching the Hope for Healing Network. I'm going to put it in the comments section as well. And then if you want the free 30-minute session, I'll put that link in the chat. And then I'm going to open it up for questions. For those, I'm going to stop the live streaming because I want people to feel that they can come off of camera. So thank you so much for joining me. Wishing Hope for Healing family a wonderful day. All right. Wonderful. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining this webinar. I feel very honored that you're here. Please feel free to, we're not live streaming anymore, so please feel free to come off camera if you have any questions, because I'm very happy to answer questions now. Okay, so I do have somebody that typed in, I'm a hairdresser with foil in my hair, so you don't want to see me. Oh, okay. No worries. I have been there, done that. So it's all good. Just type it. If you have questions, you can also, if you don't want to come off camera, you can type it in the chat as well, in the message. And I'm going to put those links here right now for you, because I want to make sure that you have that. I don't want to forget. There's been a couple of times that I've forgotten. So, all right, here's the autoimmune recovery kit. Link. Please let me know if for some reason you can't download it. I'll send it to you directly. And then of course here, if you'd like one of the 30-minute free consultations, I'm going to send you that as well. All right, and there's the link to schedule. So anyway, anybody have any questions? I know that was a lot of information. Yeah, go ahead, Patsy.
Yeah, okay. So my husband just stepped out, and I came here because my husband has some gut issues, and he's Larry, because he hasn't walked through this door before. So my question is, how do I help lead him in the door?
You know what? You are not alone. I'm telling you, Patsy. So my husband, my sweet husband, he is married to a holistic practitioner, and I have to really push him. He's like, just do it for me. I'm like, are you kidding? No, you have to do it yourself. So being there to support him and having him sit down and making sure that you're there with him. You know, I would love to do that 30-minute consultation with him. We can sit down all together and just show up. Just have him show up. All he has to do is show up. And then I can take it from there and help him feel like, oh my gosh, you know what? I can feel better. And being able to sit down, you know, on a Zoom consult, that's what I would recommend.
Okay, thank you. I froze, so it's the Zoom consult. I will continue to work with him on that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate you, and I appreciated the mold information because we had lived in a place with mold.
Yeah, and mold does linger if you don't,
Yeah.
because when I was talking about it recirculating, those toxins recirculating in your system, if you don't get rid of them, it's just going to keep going in your bloodstream and recirculating and making yourself sick. So there is a proper way to remove those mold toxins. Yeah, you're welcome. Abby, go ahead.
Yeah, so as I mentioned to you the other day, like about a year ago, we got mold removed, just got retested. Seems like, you know, based on paper, like we're in the clear. But within the past, I don't know, like 6 months or so, we've started growing mold in a couple of our toilets. So did the testing like miss some other mold that is now starting to grow? And yeah, what can be done about that?
Okay, great questions. So let me ask you a question. How did they do the mold testing? Was it an air test? Was it a sample test, a swab test? What did they do?
It was like, you know, Petri dish style, like the ERMI with the, you know, the dishes where you collect the dust on like a paper towel or something and send in those samples.
Okay. Those are not always very accurate. In fact, so I think I told you the story. My daughter, she was moving on base and I was helping her move. We moved her into this base housing and immediately I started having a lot of symptoms. Like my throat was literally closing off. I said, there is mold in this home. And she had like base inspectors come. Oh no, you're fine. We had people they were knocking on her door. No, nothing, everything's fine. So I hired my own inspector that used an infrared camera to look behind the walls. There was mold lined throughout all of the walls of this house, the entire walls. There was no insulation in that home. And this is Florida, right? So you know there's mold growing. And she was able to get out within 2 weeks, but they struggled because they were exposed to that mold, right, for that 2 week period of time. And if we wouldn't have done the inspection correctly, right, she would have just been told, oh no, everything's fine. Here's the report. Everything, we already had it tested. Everything's fine. So it has to be done properly with someone who really does know what they're talking about. And a little swab test is not going to show you what's behind those walls. It's not.
So we did the first time we tested, we started with the swab test and then we did the infrared. But you're saying we probably need to do the infrared again.
I would do the infrared for sure. Yeah, because that's going to find what's hiding behind those walls. And if you're growing mold in your toilet, it could be in your plumbing. It could be, in other different things in your home. So yeah, you want to make sure that that's gone. We can connect, Abby. We'll connect.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I do want to stress that it's really important, especially if you have children or grandbabies, to have your home looked at, especially if they're having any kind of sensitivities or sinus issues, because children can be affected by mold in a really bad way. The neighbors that my daughter was getting to know during that 2 week period of time, a lot of the children were in wheelchairs. And they had not been in wheelchairs before they moved into this base housing. And because they were having neurological conditions. So it does really affect your children. And it's very important to make sure that they're not exposed to it. Helen, did you have a question?
Please. When I first came back to faith, I was sheet white. And nowadays it would have been lined piece of paper, but I wasn't old then. So I really was sheet white and stressed to the eyeballs. I was doing a PhD and then doing research after the PhD, and and getting the PhD done in the evenings and all that sort of stuff. And but by the grace of God, I've been led, fed, directed to all sorts of ways of being changed. My gut has been changed, my understanding has been changed, my mind. So all the things that you said here, food stress sensitivities, and just detoxifying my life really from stress and things, in many ways. And I actually had to take early retirement. So but I still have gluten issues, and actually I became more and more sensitive. So although there are things that I really like croissant, for a long time I could eat those because they were the flour was coated in fat, butter or whatever, so I could swallow them, but I can't even do that now. So and I still have swallowing issue with a number of things. So, and that's partly to do with the abuse, that led to all this. But, how do I deal with the gluten? Is there anything that I can actually do?
Yeah, that's a great question. So here's what I've noticed, because I was very sensitive to gluten, dairy. I had probably about 25 foods that I had to avoid. But when I started the process of, specific detoxification, rebuilding that gut lining, strengthening my liver, my immune system, I can actually eat it now, which is
Oh, really?
surprising. Most people don't, but when you strengthen that immune system and you calm it, it's called calming the chaos, right? I was able to calm it down. I came from these TNF inhibitors, which are injections. You had to inject yourself, every month, maybe. And I just remember that feeling just awful after these medications, and it just kept making things worse. Well, now I've gone from that to being off all medications. I can eat gluten. Some people can't, but I can. I've been able to calm it enough where I can eat gluten and dairy and sugar. I try to stay away from it, right? It's not good for you, but I can eat it without having a reaction. The only thing I have to stay away from is chicken still, but everything else I can eat pretty well, and it doesn't affect me as bad because I calmed down my immune system response. So it is possible.
Right. Okay. I mean, I do everything I can and everything I'm prompted to do, but in fact, it's a sort of blessing because I go to a church where there's lots of Greek people, and they make these wonderful spinuropatas, or anyway, cheese pies with flaky pastry. I mean, I could binge on those things, but of course I can't because I can't swallow them. So actually, it's a sort of protection.
Oh, darling. Well, if you would like, we can do a 30-minute consultation for free. That free 30-minute consultation. Just click on the link and pick a day, and we can talk more about this.
Okay, I have to say I tried to take a picture of the little thing, but I don't know what to do with it. So
Yep.
I mean, me and tech don't go together.
No worries here. So I put it in the chat link. So if you look at your chat down, there's a little button probably down at the bottom, or it's in the more button, and you click on that and it should say chat, and you know what? I'm just going to send it to you. I'll message you it. Don't worry.
Are you sure?
Oh yeah.
Oh, bless you.
Yeah, I'll message. No, don't even worry about it.
Okay.
Make it
right.
easy. My motto is make things easy.
I mean, I try and do that for myself, and I'm really being very kind to myself, and I'm parenting myself with great kindness and whatever. So the kindness I show to the dog, I show to myself.
It's no worries. It's all good, dear. All right.
Yeah.
Paul,
all right.
did you?
Okay. Thank
you,
you.
dear. Did I answer your questions okay?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, Paul, go ahead.
Cecily, I just want to say something about mold because we have a conference center that has lots of different buildings in it. And one of the things that, plus our own house at one point had a flood, and we really had to, the key that I got from and takeaway is to be exceptionally vigilant about that. Not go after it, 1,000%. Do it again once you've done it in terms of the testing, because even a little sprig of mold over time can morph into the problems that you were talking about having, and you don't even know it. You thought you had it all done. Watering a plant that's on the floor and the water overflows and it gets into your carpet, that dampness, because it's not changing, can create mold. So just the vigilance of what you're talking about, Cecily, is just so important. And I have to hop off, but I just thought I'd share that a little bit.
Thank you, Paul. I appreciate that insight. Yeah, I agree. Thanks. We'll see you later. Yeah, so Paul brought up a really good point about mold. And one thing that I learned in my schooling is that mold is a silent killer. It doesn't want the host alive. It wants it dead. Like with bacteria, it's symbiotic. Virus is symbiotic. They need the host, but with mold, it doesn't. Mold is a silent killer. And so it just blows my mind that the medical profession is not talking about this more. I can't stress enough. Now, there are things that I don't want to scare you. There's things you can do, right? If you've been exposed to mold, if your house has mold, I had mold in my house. If you remediate it properly, if you take the steps needed to feel better, to get that mold out of your system, get the mold out of your house, then you're going to be fine. It's just understanding the process. And that, I guess that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, is to help people understand that process. All right. Is there any other questions?
Cecily, oh, sorry, Patchy. I had asked if you can eat eggs, or is it strictly a chicken issue for you?
Yeah, great question. So eggs, I can eat a little bit of eggs, but I have to be careful. Like I can only eat them maybe once every couple weeks. I can eat them. So here's the thing with food sensitivities. When it's cooked, it changes the protein structure. So when you cook the eggs, yes, when you're eating a whole bunch of eggs, like scrambled eggs, yeah, that's going to still, if you're having issues with the eggs or chicken, it's still going to kind of make your stomach upset, right? Because you're eating a whole bunch. If it's in, and it depends upon the allergy, when it's in different baked goods, it doesn't seem to affect me, right? But everybody's different. The thing with food sensitivity testing is it tests like 3 different types of IgG responses. That's your immune system response. You've got your IgA, which is your intestinal response. You got your IgG, which is your immune system response, and you've got your IgE, which is the anaphylactic response that your body gives. So you've got the 3 different testing that is really important, because with food sensitivities, you're not going to get the anaphylactic. You're going to get the stomach upset. You're going to get the GI discomfort, brain fog. You're going to feel tired. Those are all food sensitivity symptoms. And so understanding what those food sensitivities are is going to completely change the way that you eat and the way you feel, because when you get rid of those symptoms, oh my gosh, it's like a whole new world, right? That opens up, and it's just from avoiding those certain foods. And it's been a big game changer for me and many of my clients.
Yeah, so that makes sense, because I'm allergic to celery, and that's anaphylaxis, but I can eat it cooked. So I can't eat it raw, but I can have it cooked. And eggs, I eat them, but they definitely bother my stomach. And when you said that about chicken, I was like, oh, I never thought about chicken. So, and then there's fruits. Like I'm a walking poster, I guess, for issues with food sensitivity. So, it may be a good idea for me to just sign up and meet with you just to see what options are out there.
Yeah, I would love to meet with you because I had, like I said, I had about 25 food sensitivities, and now I'm down to like 3.
Yeah,
And
I liked that you could start introducing things back in and you were okay with them.
yeah, it's been a game changer because I had to bring my bags of food with me, right? When I go to the restaurant or when I go, I'd have, because I didn't know how it was made, and it was not fun, right? When you're watching everybody eat good foods, and you
Right,
like, and with a family, being a mom, right? I'd make all these wonderful meals, and half of it I couldn't eat,
right.
and that was hard. So being
Yeah,
able to change that immune system response, which you can do, is really a powerful game changer for health. Yeah, thank you, Amanda, for your question.
yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Does anyone else have any questions? Patsy, did you have a question?
Well, I just wanted to say to hop on the back of eliminating foods and bringing them back into my life. There was a time where I eliminated a lot of flour foods, all the gluten because of my fibromyalgia, and processed foods, canned foods, I stay away from canned foods as much as possible. Uh, so I have been able to also reintroduce certain foods into my life. It's when I go into the overload, the addiction, because what does sugar do to you, right? Your body wants more, more and more. So I have to do the work of staying away from it. So I'm just starting to detox myself again from the foods that I know that my body isn't happy with. I'm doing less activity. The more active I am, the more I can eat those foods for some reason, because maybe it's processing through my body quicker. I'm not sure energetically why, but yes, I've also been able to reintroduce foods back into my world, but I have to manage the amount. And so that's the playground I'm in right now. So
That's
for me
amazing.
to be able to, I was in bed. There was a lot of other toxins that I was getting rid of too, but being in bed and not being able to get out because of pain, I found activity to be helpful as well.
Beautiful. Thank you, Patsy. I really appreciate you saying that because, there is other, so that you've got a couple of options. You can do, the elimination diet where you're eliminating everything. Some people don't realize though that there's also, you have not just foods, but spices. Like you have to eliminate all of those as well. I didn't realize at the time I was allergic to pepper. And so I had to eliminate that. My sister is allergic to allspice, like death, just really allergic. She had no idea. And so not only do you have to eliminate the foods, you have to eliminate all of the spices as well. And that's what makes it really nice with food sensitivity testing. If you can do it because you don't have to take all that time to eliminate everything and add one at a time, right? That's why food sensitivity testing is so convenient because it just tells you everything, right? You've got all that information right there. So I love it. It's very nice to have that information. All right, Abby, go ahead.
So I did IgG testing. I could only handle it for like 30 days because there were like 50 foods I had to eliminate. And after 30 days, I just had enough and like literally added everything back in. But the only thing that I noticed was a sensitivity to grains. And since then, like I've noticed a sensitivity to cheese, which, having MCAS, it's recommended to have a low histamine diet, and cheese is high in histamines. But like the only things I've noticed from like cheese and gluten and like some high histamine foods is, some sort of GI upset or like acid reflux. Here and there, if I really overdo it on gluten, dairy, like I'll notice it affects my mood. But otherwise, I mean, I have, you know, so many systemic issues. Like I battle anaphylaxis, you know, insomnia, all sorts of other things, but I've only noticed food affecting my digestive system. But could it be affecting other systems in subtler ways that I'm just not aware of?
It's possible. I mean, people have reported like joint pain, fatigue, you know, brain fog when they have food sensitivities. The other thing is if you're still being exposed to mold, it's going to bring out those food sensitivities. It's gonna make everything worse. So you first want to make sure you're not being exposed to any mold. That's the number one thing that I would do. And it's a good point. So your situation is probably different than some people, like some other people, right? It just depends because you have MCAS, which is mast cell activation syndrome. For people that don't know, it's basically your immune system is on hyperdrive. Everything, you're going to react to everything. And that's what MCAS does. And so it is a very difficult thing to get your immune system to calm down. Most doctors have no idea how to treat it. You have to go to a holistic or functional medicine doctor in order for them to help you, because you really have to work hard at everything that you eat, everything that supplement you take in, any fragrances, right, that you're exposed to, you're going to have a reaction. And that's unfortunately what MCAS does. So my advice is find out the mold first, and then trying to get that MCAS response down, and then see if your body continues to react to foods like that.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that would be my best advice. And we'll talk more about it.
Good.
All right, it looks like it is just us ladies. Thank you so much. If any more questions, I want to make sure that I answer all of your questions while I'm here. Okay. Thank you for being here. I want you all to feel better. And, you know, I know it's possible. That's why I put my story up there, because I share with people, you know, it was pretty bleak. And I didn't think I was ever going to heal. I didn't think I was going to walk again. I didn't think I would be able to eat normally. I didn't think I was going to ever stop being in pain. I am not in pain now.
Mhm.
And that was the best thing, right? It's not to be in pain anymore. I'd wake up every morning in back pain, terrible bone pain. Like, this autoimmune illness affects your bones. And now I don't have that anymore with no medication. So it is possible. And it's a genetic illness. It's not like I can avoid it, right? So it is possible. And I'm really looking forward to chatting with every single one of you ladies. Looking forward to it. And Bill.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a good
All right,
one.
everyone. You have a wonderful day. And again, if you didn't get the links, I'm going to make sure I put it in the post, and I will, I'll tag you. I'll tag you all in the post so that if you want those links, it'll be in there.
Thank you.
You're welcome, ladies. All right. You have a wonderful day.
Bye.
Bye.